My name is Mira. I'm on a mission to peel away the clutter from my house and from my life. And I am here to welcome you into my nightmare kitchen. I have so much anxiety about my kitchen, y'all. It is crazy. So we started by looking at the Great Pyramid, and we will slowly survey the room here. But yikes. It's without question the room that I feel the most shame about, and I'll talk about how it got into this state. But first, I need to talk about the fact that this video is a collaboration that I did with Bonnie from A Beautiful Mess Extreme Cleaning, and I will link to her video. She has already posted her video about cleaning this kitchen. We are both in the US, and I learned that she lives in my state. Bonnie is someone who cleans people's houses for free. She's amazing, and I love her videos, and I hope you'll check out her video about cleaning my kitchen as well as her channel. I reached out to her a couple of months ago and was like, would you consider coming to do my kitchen and bathroom? She said yes, and here I am the night before she arrived doing my pre-clean. You know I had to. I had to. I knew I wasn't going to make a huge dent. There is the area that I am focusing on. I did a little bit of work in, that is the Great Pyramid that I was working on. And then I was like, no, I need to clear off the stove so she can actually get to the stove. And I can pretend like it's been clear this whole time. It's never been built up. Well, yeah. This is actually a pretty irregular thing. I am like, well, I need to use the stove, so I got to clear it off, and I'll clear it off, and then it'll get built up again, and rinse and repeat. Anyway, while you watch me do this, I will go ahead and talk about how I reached out to her. I sent her an email and just introduced myself and said, hey, I've got this channel and I've been working on my living room, but I've got a kitchen issue because standing for long periods is very difficult for me. So a deep clean would be extremely difficult. I knew that if I were to tackle this room on my own, it would take me a good long time. I mean, the living room took me 3 months, and I figured this would take about the same time. The difference is that I have a lot of issues mentally around the kitchen, and when I enter this room, I feel like my brain short circuits. I don't know how else to describe it. I just look at it and I have no idea where to start. I even tell myself, well, just start anywhere. I mean, that's really what I did in the living room, is I just picked a place to start and kind of circled my way around. But in the kitchen, I struggle. I really struggle. So anyway, Bonnie got back to me and she said, yeah, I'd love to help you. Watched your videos. It looks like you're doing great. And send me some pictures so I know what I'm dealing with. And I was like, oh, you want pictures? Okay. I was like, give me a couple days to work up to this. I don't know what she must have thought. Oh dear. Sorry. I'm really not trying to make you sick with all this camera movement here. But I wanted to leave this moment in here because I got my chair and I thought I need to just sit down and do something. And yeah, my brain just was like, what am I even doing? I just don't even know. But eventually I sent them and probably wrote a bunch of apologies, and she was like, "No, this is great. I'm so excited." The thing about Bonnie is the bigger the mess, the more she loves to clean it. I love that about her, and she just does great things in this world. She's a true treasure. Anyway, after I was done with all of this pre-cleaning, I let her know that I had done it, and she's like, "Stop right now. Don't do another thing." And I was like, okay, I'm done. So what I did was I removed some stuff from the stove. I removed some stuff from this side of the Great Pyramid. I removed some stuff from the sink so I could, pretend like I had been using it and stuff. And then I grabbed some stuff that was like right in front of the fridge. So I ended up taking out about 4 bags of trash the night before. I don't regret doing it because it helped with my anxiety, and I have some really good memories also of my older dog, Cupid, who, when he figured out that I was tossing food around and stuff, he got off the couch. So both of my dogs were sniffing around to see what they could find and get what little treats they could find. Now, I also took a bunch of stuff off the floor and mopped it. One of my pups, who shall remain nameless, likes to do a pee and run. If something is on the floor, like a bag or a box, he'll pee on it. Okay, I got to interrupt myself to talk about the funny thing that happened when I picked up that it's like a electronic fetch toy, and I turned it over and there was a little piece of Little Caesar's crazy bread in it. So this little piece of crazy bread fell out. How did a piece of crazy bread get in that? I don't know. Anyway, back to Clay. So when I lived in my other house, there was no doggy door. So he would have a pee pad that he could go to while I was at work. And then I moved here and there was a doggy door here. And he got trained to that, but he still pees on random stuff on the floor, which is a bit of a challenge when you live in a house like mine where there's lots of random junk on the floor. Okay, so here's my other pile. I'm like, let's get rid of some of these pizza boxes. This is just the most random pre-cleaning ever. And I'm going to find a water bottle here pretty soon. Because of course I did. Now let's talk about how my kitchen got this way to begin with. And believe it or not, there is some logic underneath all this. It's weird logic, maybe. But there is some logic. And then the logic is overlaid with a huge amount of depression. Here comes the shot of Cupid, my little love. And speaking of Cupid, he was an expert at getting into trash. Okay, we have now started the official cleaning, and here is where I apologize again because I have the worst angles in this video. What was I thinking? Okay, what I was thinking was I didn't sleep very well the night before. I was super excited and nervous, and I was only running on like 5 or 6 hours of sleep maybe, and that's not really enough for me. So I did very poorly in the angle department, and I'm very sorry. It makes me so sad. So we're just going to go ahead and count bad camera angles. So yeah. With this one, I think what happened is I set up the camera, and then as I moved to go in place, I accidentally like zoomed in too much. So yeah, I am so sad. But we're gonna make do, and I'm just gonna keep talking. So Cupid can get into any trash can, especially when he was younger, but he still had a lot of life in him when it came to food. So when I moved here, I got in the habit of putting trash up high. So I would put trash on the counters or on the chair or on the table instead of putting it on the floor. These are some little DC ornaments that one of my coworkers once gave to me. Here's my little Sherlock figurine. He's so cute. Some random bags of ramen, of course. This is the kitchen after all. So here is logic point number 2. There's really only one place for the garbage in the kitchen to be, and it's right next to the fridge, but it's also right next to the door that leads to the scrapbook room. So I have tried getting trash cans that fit, but it's a really narrow space. Over time, I would get a new garbage can and I would move the other one aside, and then the new one would still be too wide for the space, and I'd be like, oh, okay, fine. And then that would be one more trash can in the room, and all the trash cans were on chairs, and then I got very, very, very depressed. A lot of it was job related. A lot of it was pandemic related. And then it turned into my health, health issues as well. I have struggled with depression ever since I was a teenager. Here's a broken plate, more water bottles. This was a different level of depression, though, that I sunk to, and I really just couldn't see a way out of it. I would start to feel a little better, like I would have moments where my head would come above water, and I would think, well, I need to buy some new groceries, and so I would buy some new groceries, and then they would waste away just like the other food before it. And I just got overwhelmed. And bags would fall on the floor and they would get peed on, and I would try to clean up, but sometimes they would fall under like the table, and it was just too hard for me to reach them under there, and something fell in the drawer under the stove, and it couldn't shut anymore, and I couldn't figure that out. And I even had a couple of people come over before it got so bad, but they couldn't get it out either. And eventually I stopped using the kitchen very much at all. I just went in to use the fridge, the microwave, and walk through to use the laundry room. When I needed a sink, I would use the one in the kitchen, because it was just too hard to go in the kitchen and be faced with all of this stuff. I love that you can see Bonnie working in the background. So Bonnie, oh my goodness, it was so great to meet her. I was super shy that first day though. I was like, I don't know if she likes me. But with Bonnie, what you see is what you get. She's very much the kind, sweet person that you see in her videos. And I have to describe her as like a tornado, but like a really benevolent and sweet tornado. Like she comes in and leaves everything just changed in its wake, but it's all in the best ways. So tornado really isn't the best word, but I just can't think of a word that captures the way that she changes things so quickly, like how she moves so fast and does all that she does. She's just amazing. And please check out her channel if you haven't already. Even if you have, why not? The world needs more people like her. She did in 2 days what would have taken me months to do. She films from a couple of different angles so she can show different perspectives, and I think I'm going to follow her lead because clearly I need help. And maybe if I have another camera going, I did find 3 in my living room, so I've got some cameras that I can use to take additional footage, and surely I should be able to get some decent footage if I have 2 cameras going at once. Sigh. Okay, back to the kitchen. So the thing is, I've never felt very adept in the kitchen. And part of that is because I just never felt like it was very important. Cooking always seemed like a chore, so I felt like, why not spend time doing other things? And thus I was never very confident in the kitchen. And when I would have mishaps or whatever, it would diminish my confidence. I have a small group of different foods and meals that I prepare, but it's something I wish I had spent more time on. And that is something that I want to do eventually, become more proficient and confident in the kitchen. But I feel like I'm changing enough right now, and that's something that I can do down the road. Maybe that's a different journey for a future me. Yay! Here are my filters for my furnace. They've been buried in this box. I had to buy them separately because I couldn't get to this box. It's been buried in here for a few years now. I pulled one out because I know it's been a while since one got put in. And this is going to help with my breathing, I'm sure. And it did. And getting this box out of the room will also help with the clutter. This box went by the furnace instead, which, is kind of where it belongs. I was coming across so many things in these boxes here, and the funny part is that most of them had very little to do with actual kitchen items. Oh, jeez. Oh. And to no one's surprise, I found so many water bottles. Bonnie found a ton of water bottles. But we found a lot of water bottles that I hadn't opened. So I had a whole lineup. I probably could have done another bowling alley with them. I've seen some questions about the water bottles on some previous videos and over on Bonnie's video as well. When I lived in my other house, the drinking water, it's all safe, but it tasted terrible. It was hideous. And I lived in that house for 15 years. So I started drinking Aquafina, and I basically got hooked on the taste. I love it. The Great Pyramid is looking less great. It's still kind of pyramid-y. And I have got these jumbo bags that I pulled out for the kitchen because I knew there was going to be a lot of trash here. Let's talk about recycling for just a minute. I live in an area where recycling is optional. We do have bins that are set out for them. We decided, though, for the purposes of just cleaning this out and getting a clean slate to start over with, that we were just going to toss everything. It really would have slowed us down quite a bit if we had segregated things out. That may disappoint some people, and I'm sorry for that. Normally, I do separate out my recycling, but in this case, my desire to do it overran my ability to stay on top of it. So that's why we just decided, let's just start over and clear out everything. Then I can just get right back to recycling. But I have to say, I don't understand my desire to be part of the hoarding cereal boxes Olympics. I've realized that I can really overthink things, and I definitely do when it comes to cereal boxes. So I eat some cereal and I get close to the bottom and I think, well, part of this cereal is kind of broken up because it tends to get that way at the bottom, and I don't want to eat that, but maybe I can strain it somehow, and so I'll leave what's left in the box, and then I'll start another box, and then I'll just build up this box collection, and I just need to be like Elsa and let it go. Either eat the rest of the cereal from the box, or throw away the last at the bottom, and it will be okay. I can let it go. I am so excited to be at the last of the pyramid. In this drawer, there were a ton of medications for the dogs that they have gotten over the years, just leftover medicines and things. So I went through those, and I'm going to dispose of them. And it will be nice to have this drawer to use for something else. That is something that we weren't able to get to all of the drawers and shelves, not the ones by the Great Pyramid. So that'll be something for me to do on another time. And here we are, uncovering my poor table, which had gotten some, I don't know, something in there spilled, and there was mold and yuck all over the table, which was pretty sad, but you know, it happened, and I just dealt with it, and we tossed what needed to be tossed and then moved on. We're about to uncover something really great. I knew I had it somewhere, but I didn't realize it was in the kitchen. Although, you know, who doesn't keep this fully wonderful, useful item in their kitchen? My sword. Before the pandemic, a friend said, "Oh, I'm going to this sword making workshop. Do you want to come too?" And I said, "Okay." And we spent all day making swords. So here's my Egyptian sword, and sadly it did get caught up in whatever muck is on the table. Bonnie tried to clean it for me, but it didn't come fully clean. I'm going to see if maybe a jewelry technique might work. Okay, now here is something else that I want to share. I found a Christmas stocking, and I had listed my wish that I wanted for the next year, which is I want to clear up some space in my house and let people in my life reach out more. I wrote that at Christmas time in 2021, and it was pretty amazing to find it 2 years later in the piles and realize that that's exactly what I was doing. I'm finally making that Christmas wish of mine come true. This pile here doesn't have a name. It's just random stuff. including my paper plates that I was using because it was just too hard to get to actual plates. The truth is that the way that the piles were, it was very hard to get to anything. I did not use the sink in here. There was stuff on the floor in front of it, and so I would have to stretch across the stuff to use the sink. And that also applied to many of the shelves as well. If you are good at maintaining a pile-free house, you probably don't realize the stuff that pilers get used to, and you just become accustomed to it. You have piles, so you have to stretch across them, stretch over them, if you need to get to things that are behind them. But the thing about it is that when you're in it, you come to not notice it. It's just the way you live. It's the way you live life. So often, instead of using the kitchen sink, when I needed a sink, I would just go into the bathroom sink and use that one instead. When I sit back and think about it logically, that is kind of strange. But it's something that you just become used to, and it becomes your normal. And it can become your normal to say to yourself, okay, dinner's ready, better get a plate. And your plates are paper plates that are wedged against the wall right by your front door. Because I don't know why. There's not really a reason why. You just set them down there, and so that's where they are now. To those who are watching who live in similar ways, who have their own places for their paper plates or other plates, I just want to say that I see you. I see you. And I respect and love you, and I think you're so great. We all do what we do to get through the day, to get through our days, and sometimes the days are really hard, and sometimes we have lots of hard days right next to each other. Sometimes we struggle with anxiety, depression, other mental health issues. Sometimes we struggle with health issues, and those are hard too. You deserve love, and you deserve a life and a house that you want. You might have a Christmas wish just like I do to change the way that your surroundings are. And if that's you, then go ahead, take a step or two. Start small. You don't have to change the whole house, the whole apartment, the whole flat in one step. I know that's too hard, and I know it's overwhelming. It's okay. It's okay to just do a little bit. Just do what you can. I'm going to tell you something that I wouldn't have believed if they had told me even 2 years ago. You deserve it. You deserve good things. You can make them happen for yourself a little at a time, a little at a time. And don't be afraid to reach out either. Even encouragement is helpful. I can't even tell you. I've said this before, and I'll say it probably a million times again. But I can't even tell you how much it helps me to have your encouragement. All of you who comment and say, good job, well done, and how proud you are of me. I did not expect that when I started this channel, but it has been a true, true blessing. Once again, thank you for that. And yeah, the previous angle would have been just fine, but no, I had to had to move the camera, and now my head and myself are in the way. I was just going through all of these dishes that Bonnie had done. She did so much in this kitchen, okay, sorry for the jarring swing again. She did so much of the kitchen. I did the Great Pyramid. I did that little area that was right across from the Great Pyramid. I sorted through stuff that she would find, and I brought it out into the living room. Don't worry, it's gone now. But Bonnie did the rest. She is the real MVP here. And I just thought of the right word to describe her. She's not a tornado. She's a whirlwind. She is a whirlwind that leaves cleanliness and order in its wake. That's what she is. This is not the best angle either, but at least you can see what I'm looking at. And I am never going to complain about an angle that includes Cupid. There he is at the top of the screen. My little man. Grief comes in waves, and it hit me again today. But it's really good to see him again. What a good boy. All right, I'm just going through boxes. And this one's got a lot of books in it. I was thinking that this was my autograph copy, but no, it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and donate that. Here's a little frame. A blood pressure cuff that was too small for me to use. A bunch of other things. And then I started to realize, wait a minute. This is stuff that I went through for the entryway, but was planning to donate, but somehow it never got to the donation place. So yeah, I'm just shifting it all to a bigger donation box. And now we've got this box, which has got lots of audiobooks. I have a shelf in another room that is full of audiobooks, so I went ahead and just set that aside to put in that room. Coming across some purses. It's not really my usual style, so I really think it was given to me. And I'm going to try it out. Why not? It's an oracle deck. It's so random, the things that I put in boxes and then set down somewhere. I have a laundry room full of those kinds of boxes, so that'll be a fun adventure for future me. I found a bunch of jewelry in this box. I really don't remember getting a lot of this, to be honest. I do have a lot of scattered jewelry throughout the house, and I'm working on some storage solutions because I've really kind of outgrown the one that I had. Some old glasses. I'm going to donate those. An emergency blanket. I took that out to my car. Here are some necklaces that I bought at a local comic convention. Oh my goodness, this is the oldest tech. I bought it 20 plus years ago, so I could use it to organize my calendar. Oh, more necklaces. This one is from Doctor Who. The one that I had before was a Harry Potter one. This one I'm trying to figure out what it is. I don't know. And then here is one that is supernatural related. How many of you watch Supernatural? If you do, what team are you on? I will proudly admit I am a member of Team Castiel. I almost met Misha Collins, the actor who plays him, at a local Comic-Con. And I'm sorry to say that I was sick and couldn't go. So hopefully sometime in the future I can meet him. All right, what we have here is something that's kind of common in my house, and that is a bag or a box. But in this case, it's a bag that I have opened and not even removed the item from the bag. And sadly, this is kind of common. I found several of these in the living room as I was cleaning it up. And I know I'm going to find more in other rooms of the house. And there's that adrenaline hit that you get when you go shopping and find something really great. And then in my case, I come home and I have so much stuff that I don't exactly know where to put it. The good thing is that I have been doing this less as I've started this decluttering journey, because I really am going to need to do both: declutter stuff and not bring stuff in. The struggle is real though. This is a coping mechanism that I have used for decades, so it's not easy to overcome it. I think I might get several suggestions to do a no-buy period of time. I am not sure about that. In the past, when I have tried to do things where I stop cold turkey, I end up feeling deprived, and sometimes I end up doing worse than I would have otherwise. Shopping is one of my coping mechanisms. So I get an adrenaline rush when I go shopping or am shopping online, and I'm like, oh, that looks so amazing. And I hit the buy button, and then it comes, and I'm like, okay. Haha, hi Bonnie. Great Bonnie cameo there. I know that some people will suggest doing something like a no buy, where I don't buy things except, essentials like groceries or, things I actually legitimately run out of. I have been reluctant to do that because when I've tried that before, I fall into a feeling of deprivation. And sometimes that leads me to spending even more than I would have otherwise. I have been shopping quite a bit less since I started decluttering, because really those two need to go together. I really do need to bring less in and keep getting stuff out. Nowadays, if I see something that I really want or think I really want, I will wait. I'll leave it in the cart for 24 hours and see if I still want it. And that actually has helped quite a bit. It's reduced the stuff coming in, so that's a good thing. And here, I was going to create this comic book area in my bedroom when I first moved in, and I bought these thinking, yay, let's do it. So yeah, when I moved into this house, I think it's 5 or 6 years ago now. I'm not going to do that actually though. I'm going to have a comic book area in my spare bedroom. We are getting to the point of the end of the video, and I just have to say thank you to Bonnie again. She absolutely did the bulk of the work. She also did a lot of stuff that would have been physically very, very difficult for me. So I absolutely could not have done this without her, and I am so, so grateful. So please go visit her channel and check out her videos so you can see her do all of the amazing work that she did. So let's go ahead and take a look at the amazing difference in this room. Here is the before. Here is the Great Pyramid before. And all of this stuff. Oh my goodness. My little drawer that wouldn't close. My 72 trash bags. My multiple garbage bins that wouldn't fit in that area between the scrapbook room door. And now here's the room after. I finally found a garbage bin that was narrow enough to fit in that spot so that the door won't bounce back and hit you in the head when you try to get out there. There is space. And here is all the trash. Now, we had to trash the table and the chairs, but Bonnie and her subscribers really did something that touched me so much. They all came together and chipped in to buy me a new table and chairs. You will see that in the next video. So I'm just beyond words about how generous she and her audience are. Thank you so much. Here is what went to donation. There's still more to go. And I'm going through some of these things. I thought if I had some dog toys that I sorted through in a previous video, and I thought, let's go ahead and donate these. They're too big for my guys. And here's something else that I really am grateful for. That is that Cupid loved his new space. All that area in the kitchen floor that he could now walk on. I am filling up my sister's car with boxes. She volunteered to take some stuff to me when she came over to replace the furnace filter for me. It's in a crawl space that's hard for me to access. So, yeah, she took a bunch of stuff to donation. Yay! And here's what's coming next. This is the bathroom. It is another collaboration with Bonnie. So the next video you see will be both of us working on this room. I will work on better angles, but thank you so much for watching.